The office smelled of lavender and money. Yuna Park sat perfectly still in her leather chair, watching the woman across from her dab at tears with a tissue that cost more than most people's lunch. The woman, Margaret Kim, philanthropist, mental health advocate, mother to the late Kpop star Yuna, had been crying for exactly 3 minutes and 47 seconds. "I just feel so empty," Margaret whispered, clutching her designer handbag. "Ever since Luna passed, it's like there's this void nothing can fill. The foundation helps, but at night, when I'm alone..." Yuna's pen moved across her notepad in precise strokes. Subject exhibits typical narcissistic grief patterns. References daughter by stage name only. Her voice, when she spoke, was warm honey poured over ice. "Tell me about Luna, not the idol, your daughter." Margaret's face brightened, the tears stopping as quickly as they'd started. She reached for her phone, swiping to a photo. Oh, she was magnificent, so talented, so driven. Look, this was at her final concert. Yuna accepted the phone with steady hands. On the screen, Luna, smiled beside Margaret at an industry event. The only photo they'd ever taken together, the one Hana had begged for. Yuna knew because she'd been waiting in the car outside, 15 years old and invisible, while her sister played perfect daughter for exactly one photograph. For a fraction of a second, Yuna's thumb trembled against the screen. "She's beautiful," Yuna said, handing it back. "You must have been very close." "Oh yes," Margaret sighed, lost in her fabricated memories. "I supported her from the very beginning. A mother always knows her child's dreams." Yuna's pen resumed its careful notes. Outside, Seoul's skyline glittered like a stage set for revenge, 8 years in the making. "Shall we begin today's session, Mrs. Kim?" But it wasn't always like this. Once, Yuna had believed in healing instead of harm. The music box played Claire de Lune, while 8-year-old Yuna practiced her pirouettes, and 12-year-old Hana laughed from the bed. Their cramped apartment above grandmother's restaurant smelled like kimchi jjigae and happiness. "When I become a singer," Hana announced, braiding Yuna's hair, "you'll be my backup dancer. We'll travel the world together." "Promise?" Yuna asked, clutching the music box their mother had given them last Christmas, the last gift before everything changed. "Promise," Hana said, linking their pinkies. "It's you and me, always." The warmth lasted exactly 6 more days. Their mother stood by the door with a single suitcase, not looking at them. February rain hammered the windows. Grandmother was at the restaurant. It was just the 3 of them, or about to be 2. "I can't do this anymore," their mother said to the wall. "I'm suffocating here." Hana grabbed her arm. "Iyama, please. We'll be good. Yuna won't cry at night anymore, I promise." "It's not about you." Their mother yanked free, still refusing to look at them. "I was never meant to be a mother. Some women aren't. I'm 28 years old. I have a life to live." Yuna held out the music box, desperate. "But you gave us this. You said it was because you loved us." The slap wasn't hard, but it knocked the music box from Yuna's hands. It hit the floor, the dancer's head snapping off, the music grinding to a distorted halt. Time seemed to stop as they all stared at the broken pieces. Their mother finally looked at them then, really looked, and Yuna saw nothing in her eyes. Not love, not hate, nothing. "I'm moving to Gangnam. Don't look for me." The door closed with the soft click of permanence. Hana held Yuna as she sobbed, both of them kneeling beside the broken music box. The melody continued playing, off-key and wrong, like a heart learning to beat incorrectly. Outside, their mother's heels clicked away on wet pavement, never pausing, never slowing. "It's okay," Hana whispered, fierce and shaking. "I'll take care of you. I'll become famous, and she'll see what she threw away. She'll come back." But even at 8 years old, holding the broken dancer's head, Yuna knew the truth that Hana wouldn't accept for years. Their mother wasn't coming back. She was already gone. She had been gone long before she walked out the door. 2016. Yuna stood in the rain outside Seoul National Hospital, still wearing the black dress from Hana's funeral. Inside her purse, Hana's suicide note, the death certificate, and a newspaper announcing their mother's inheritance. The broken music box sat in her apartment, playing its distorted melody on repeat. Dr. James Choi found her there at 3 a.m., soaked and catatonic. "She left everything to next of kin," Yuna whispered. "Hana knew the law, knew it would go to the parents who abandoned us. Our mother will get millions from the daughter she threw away." "What will you do?" James asked gently. Yuna's eyes went dead. "I'm going to become someone else." 7 years. Medical school by day, psychology certification by night. Yuna Park ceased to exist, replaced by Dr. Yuna Park, specialist in trauma and family therapy. She studied Margaret Kim like a disease requiring cure. No, requiring extraction. She learned Margaret's routines: yoga at 7, charity lunches at noon, therapy attempts with 6 different counselors who couldn't help her empty nest syndrome. She memorized Margaret's speeches about losing my beloved Luna at mental health galas, watched her build the Hana Foundation with Hana's money, saw her publish a grief memoir that never mentioned a second daughter. Yuna trained her voice to lose its warmth, practiced smiling without reaching her eyes. She published papers on complicated grief and narcissistic personality disorder. She became Seoul's most sought-after therapist for the wealthy and broken. The music box evolved too. Yuna had it repaired, partially. Now it played its melody clearly but wrong, each note precisely off-key. She kept it in her office, a reminder that some things couldn't be truly fixed, only made functional in their brokenness. "You've changed," James told her 6 years later. "The warmth is gone." "Good," Yuna replied, reviewing Margaret's file. The woman had finally requested an appointment with the renowned Dr. Park, desperate for someone who could understand her grief. Present day. Yuna stood before her office mirror, adjusting her pearl necklace, a deliberate echo of Hana's signature style. Margaret would arrive in 10 minutes for their 3rd session, already trusting her completely. The woman who'd walked away from 2 daughters now sought comfort from one of them, blind to the truth. The music box sat on her desk, silent until needed. Inside her locked drawer, photos of Hana, newspaper clippings of Nova's success, the suicide note, and a detailed plan 7 years in the making. She'd become exactly what she needed to be, a healer who knew precisely where to cut. Thunder rolled across Seoul as Margaret settled into the therapy chair, designer shoes perfectly dry despite the storm. She'd had her driver drop her at the door, of course. Some people never had to weather their own storms. "I've been having the strangest dreams," Margaret began, rubbing her temples. "There's a child crying, but when I look for her, she's never there." Yuna's pen didn't pause. Tell me about the child. I don't know her, but she's holding something broken, and she keeps asking why I left. Margaret laughed, brittle as winter branches. Ridiculous, isn't it? Luna never asked me that. She understood I loved her from a distance. Distance can be a form of love, Yuna agreed, each word precisely measured. But sometimes children interpret distance differently than we intend. Margaret leaned forward, trusting, confiding. You understand. That's why you're the only therapist who's helped. The others kept pushing about family history, childhood trauma. But you focus on my loss, my pain, your loss. Yuna's fingers tightened imperceptibly on her pen. Outside, lightning illuminated Hana's memorial poster on a nearby building, Nova's Angel, Forever 29. The door burst open. Margaret's assistant rushed in, phone extended. Mrs. Kim, I'm so sorry, but there's an emergency at the foundation. On the screen, a gossip blog headline, Mystery Woman Visits Luna's Grave Daily, Secret Family. The photo showed Yuna from behind at Hana's grave, the same height, same build as her sister. The marble headstone clearly visible. Park Hana Luna, beloved daughter and sister. Sister? Margaret frowned. That's a misprint. Luna was an only child. Perhaps a stage sister from Nova? Yuna suggested smoothly, though her pulse hammered. Idols often call group members family. Margaret nodded, satisfied, handing back the phone. Of course, though this woman does look familiar. She studied Yuna for a moment that stretched like pulled taffy. Then she smiled. She has your posture, that straight-backed confidence. Luna had that too, on stage. The moment passed. The session continued. But Yuna's hand shook as she wrote. Subject exhibits selective memory patterns. Genuine or self-protective? Later, reviewing session footage alone, Yuna watched Margaret unconsciously humming. The melody was Clair de Lune, the music box song. Margaret didn't seem aware she was doing it. A small victory. The planted seeds were growing. She's starting to remember, Yuna told the broken music box, even if she doesn't know it yet. James appeared in her doorway, uninvited as always. I saw the blog post. You're being reckless. I'm being thorough. Hana wouldn't want this. He set a file on her desk. Hana's medical records from her final sessions with him. She talked about you constantly, how she wanted to protect you from becoming bitter like her. Hana's dead because she couldn't let go of hoping that woman would love us. Yuna didn't open the file. I won't make the same mistake. You already are. You're letting Margaret define your entire life, just differently than Hana did. Thunder shook the building. In the distance, sirens wailed. Someone else's emergency, someone else's tragedy. Yuna wondered if their mother had ever lost sleep when 8-year-old Yuna had cried through thunderstorms, terrified and abandoned. She knew the answer. My next appointment is in 5 minutes, Yuna said coldly. James paused at the door. That crying child in Margaret's dreams? That's not a memory, Yuna. That's guilt. Even if her conscious mind won't admit you existed, her subconscious knows what she did. The door closed. Yuna sat alone with the truth she didn't want. Their mother did remember, somewhere deep and unreachable. It changed nothing. The plan would continue. The music box played its broken melody during the hypnotherapy session. each distorted note designed to trigger subconscious memories. Margaret lay on the therapy couch, eyes closed, traveling deeper into the maze Yuna had constructed in her mind over weeks. "You're in your old apartment," Yuna guided, voice professionally distant. "February 1999. What do you see?" "Rain," Margaret whispered. "Someone's crying." "Who's crying?" "A child. 2 children. No." Margaret's fingers twitched. "Just one. Luna. She's crying because I'm leaving for work." "Just Luna?" "Yes, my daughter, my only..." Margaret's face contorted. There's another voice. Smaller. Why can't I see her face? Yuna leaned forward, precisely cruel. Because you never looked at her. The Foundation's emergency board meeting was called that afternoon. 3 major donors had received anonymous packages, psychiatric evaluations suggesting Margaret's charitable work was elaborate narcissistic compensation. Her book sales plummeted. The gossip blogs erupted with questions about Luna's mysterious sister, mentioned on the headstone. Margaret arrived at her next session trembling, designer makeup streaked. "Everything's falling apart," she sobbed, real tears this time. "The Foundation, my reputation, someone's destroying me." "How does it feel?" Yuna asked softly, "to lose everything you built?" Margaret looked up sharply. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Recognition? But no, only confusion and pain. "Even my memories feel wrong. I keep seeing, but that's impossible." Then Margaret pulled out a pill bottle. Dementia medication. Yuna's blood chilled. "I haven't told anyone," Margaret whispered. "The doctors say it's early onset, hereditary. Luna might have, if she'd lived longer." She trailed off, lost. "Sometimes I forget things, important things, but I remember Luna. I'll always remember my daughter." The singular, always singular. James stood in the doorway after Margaret left, holding a tablet. On the screen, a video of teenage Hannah crying in his office years ago. "She knew," James said quietly. "About the dementia. Hannah knew your mother was sick when she left that inheritance. She wanted to make sure Margaret was cared for, even after everything." In the video, Hannah's voice broke. "Maybe that's why Mom left. Maybe she knew she'd forget us anyway. Maybe leaving was her way of loving us." Yuna stared at her sister's face, frozen on screen. Beautiful, broken Hannah, still making excuses for the woman who'd abandoned them. The music box continued its distorted song. Yuna realized with crystalline clarity that she'd become exactly what she'd hated. Someone who could look at a suffering woman and feel nothing. Someone who could walk away from family. "You have a choice," James said. "You can stop this. Help her genuinely. Be the healer you trained to be." "She chose to forget us." "No, her brain is choosing for her. There's a difference." Thunder rolled outside, matching the storm in Yuna's chest. She closed her eyes, seeing 8-year-old Yuna holding the broken music box. Then she opened them, decision made. The gala is tomorrow night. The Hana Foundation's annual gala glittered with Seoul's elite, but Yuna had orchestrated a private moment. The rooftop garden, where Margaret had fled after her speech went wrong, forgetting Luna's debut date, calling her by the wrong stage name. The dementia was accelerating under stress. Rain began as Margaret stood at the edge, staring at the city lights. Yuna approached, no longer hiding her predator's walk. "Beautiful view," Yuna said, dropping her therapeutic voice. Hana loved heights, before she jumped from one. Margaret turned, confused. "Dr. Park? I didn't know you were..." February 15th, 1999. Yuna held up the broken music box, its distorted melody cutting through rain. "You gave us this at Christmas. Said it was because you loved us. Both of us." "I don't understand, Yuna." She stepped closer. "My name is Park Yuna. You had 2 daughters. You left 2 daughters." Margaret's face went white. "No, Luna was... I only had..." "You had Hana and Yuna. You abandoned us both. But you only remembered the one who became famous, the one whose death made you rich." Recognition crashed through Margaret's eyes like breaking glass. Not of Yuna's face, but of the truth her diseased brain had hidden. "The crying child in your dreams?" Yuna's voice broke. "That was me, 8 years old, begging you not to leave." "You're lying." Margaret grabbed the railing. "I would remember another daughter. I would never." "You slapped this from my hands." Yuna thrust the music box forward. "Broke it. Like you broke us. And now I've broken everything you built with Hana's money. Every donor, every connection, every lie you told yourself about being a grieving mother." Margaret's legs buckled. "You did this? My foundation, the rumors. You destroyed me?" "Just returning the favor." Margaret looked up, rain streaming down her face, and smiled. Broken, knowing. "You're just like me, walking away from family, choosing destruction over love. I made you exactly what you hated." The words hit like physical blows. Yuna saw herself clearly, standing over a sick woman, reveling in revenge. "Hana forgave me," Margaret whispered. "She left me everything knowing I was sick. But you'll never forgive yourself." Thunder cracked. Lightning illuminated 2 women, mirrors of cruelty across generations. The music box fell, shattering again on wet concrete. Silence. Complete, deafening silence except for rain and broken breathing. Neither woman moved. Neither could look away from what they'd become. The gala continued below, unaware of the rooftop revelation. Yuna descended first, leaving Margaret in the rain with shattered music box pieces. She took the podium during the memorial slideshow. Hundreds of photos of Luna, not a single one of 2 sisters together. "Before we continue celebrating the Hana Foundation," Yuna spoke clearly into the microphone, "I need to share something. My name is Dr. Park Yuna. Luna, Hana, was my sister." Gasps rippled through the ballroom. On the screens behind her, Yuna had replaced the slideshow with childhood photos. 3 people at Christmas, 1998. Mother, Hana, and Yuna. The last family photo before abandonment. Hana had a sister who was erased from history. A mother who left 2 daughters, but only claimed one after death made it profitable. She played an audio recording. Margaret's own therapy sessions. Edited. "Luna was my only child. I supported her from afar. A mother always knows her daughter's dreams." Then, the final blow. Hana's suicide note, displayed for all to read. "Mom, if you're reading this, you finally noticed me. It only took me dying. I hope the money helps you remember. I hope Yuna can forget." The room erupted. Donors demanded answers. Board members fled. Cameras flashed as Margaret stumbled in from the rooftop, soaked and confused, calling for Luna to help her, not understanding why everyone was leaving. "Where's Luna?" Margaret asked the emptying room. "She was just here. My daughter was just..." She froze, seeing the childhood photo on screen. 3 faces. Her hand rose to her mouth. "I had 2?" By morning, the foundation was disbanded. Margaret's memoir publisher pulled all copies. Her Gangnam penthouse, purchased with Hana's money, went into legal limbo. She stood in the empty mansion, holding a photo she didn't remember taking, of children she couldn't quite recall. The broken music box had been reassembled wrong by building maintenance. The dancer faced backward now, spinning against the melody's intended direction. Margaret wound it, listening to the fractured tune without recognition, tears streaming for reasons she couldn't grasp. James found Yuna at Hana's grave as dawn broke. "It's done," Yuna said flatly. "She's lost everything, just like we did." "No," James said quietly. "You lost more. Hana lost her life hoping for love. Your mother lost her memories to disease. But you lost yourself by choice." He placed Hana's medical file on the gravestone. "She wrote you letters during our sessions. Never sent them. Read them or don't. But know this. Your revenge worked perfectly. You made Margaret feel what abandonment is like, except she won't remember it tomorrow. You will remember forever." The cemetery stretched silent, except for mourning birds. Yuna sat alone between 2 losses, her sister in the ground, her mother in the void of forgetting. The music box melody drifted from somewhere in the city, playing correctly in someone else's happy home. Victory tasted like rain and regret. Margaret stood in the rain outside the demolished Hana Foundation building, clutching a newspaper she couldn't quite read. The headline blurred, something about fraud, abandoned daughters, stolen inheritance. Security guards wouldn't let her in. "I need to get Luna's photos," she told them, confused. "My daughter's pictures are in there." They looked at her with pity. The woman who'd once commanded Seoul's charity circuit now wore the same designer dress for 3 days, makeup streaking, wondering why her assistant wouldn't answer calls. Inside her Gangnam penthouse, now stripped of furniture by creditors, Yuna watched through surveillance feeds she'd had installed months ago. Margaret wandered the empty rooms, calling for someone, sometimes Luna, sometimes a name that started with Y. She couldn't quite remember. The broken music box sat on the marble floor, playing its backwards melody. Margaret picked it up, frowning. "This was... someone gave this to..." She shook her head, lost. "Why do I have this?" Yuna closed the laptop. Around her, boxes packed for tomorrow's flight to Vancouver. A new identity. Dr. Sarah Park. No connection to Korea, to K-pop, to abandoned daughters. She'd won. Margaret had lost everything. Reputation, wealth, legacy, memories, perfect revenge, surgically executed. So why did victory feel like drowning? She opened Hana's letters from James, pages of her sister's handwriting she'd been avoiding. "Yuna ya, I saw Mom today. She didn't recognize me even though my face is on billboards. I wanted to scream, 'I'm your daughter,' but maybe she's already forgotten she had any. Maybe that's mercy." The dementia diagnosis explains everything and nothing. Does it matter if abandonment was a choice or disease? We're still alone. If you're reading this, I'm gone. Please don't become like me. Someone who spent their whole life trying to be remembered by someone incapable of remembering. Live, Yuna. Just live. The last letter, dated the day before Hana's death. I'm leaving her the money because anger is exhausting, Yuna. Revenge would require caring, and I'm too tired to care anymore. Let her have it. Let her forget us completely. Some ghosts are meant to fade. Yuna found herself at the airport, one-way ticket to anywhere but here. In the bathroom mirror, she saw Margaret's eyes looking back. The same emptiness, the same absence of warmth her mother had shown that February night in 1999. She'd become exactly what she'd hated. Someone who could destroy family and walk away. Her phone buzzed. James. Margaret was found wandering Gangnam Station, looking for her daughters. Plural. The medicine is helping her remember fragments. She keeps asking where Yuna and Hana went. Yuna deleted the message. Deleted James's number. Deleted the last recording of Hana's voice. A voicemail from 2016. Yuna ya, call me back. I need to hear you're okay. I love you. Gone. At the gate, a little girl played with a music box. The real Claire de Lune, tinkling perfectly. Her mother held her close, humming along. The family they'd never been. The healing they'd never have. Yuna boarded the plane. Below, Seoul glittered like a stage she'd never returned to. Somewhere down there, Margaret sat in an empty mansion, holding a broken music box, crying for daughters she could almost remember. Somewhere else, Hana lay under marble and roses, finally at peace. And Yuna? Yuna sat between two emptinesses, the mother she'd destroyed and the sister she'd failed to save. She'd orchestrated perfect revenge against someone too sick to remember it tomorrow. The revenge was complete. The healing would never begin. In the airplane window's reflection, she saw no one at all.